Please take your seats. Welcome to this afternoon's work session.
Email.
First order of business is if any of the commissioners would like to discuss any of the preliminary items for the next BOC meeting. All right, hearing none, we'll go into our work session items. First one is Boards of Committees update. Dr. Rhonda Kendrick. Is she here? Not here. All right, we'll go to the next new county administration building update. Mr. Fox.
Good evening, commissioners, chairman, and vice chair. I'd like to, my name is Marty Fox. I'm assistant director of building maintenance and oversee the planning.
Speak up a little louder.
I am Marty Fox, assistant director of building and maintenance, and oversee the planning, design, and construction team. And I'd like to introduce Henry Cantwell with Nelson Worldwide, who will be giving you the presentation for the new administration building, or the update for the new administration building.
Good evening. Thank you. How's everybody doing tonight?
All is well.
Okay. So first thing we want to talk about is sort of where we are right now. So as you remember, we were looking at a building right there on the corner, and we have developed a sort of 90% set of documents for that building. So it is in that shape, ready to go to bid. There's just a few things we need to coordinate with the county on, then we wrap it up, send it out to bid. So that's where the drawings are. So now that we're looking at a new site, there's a couple things that we need to do first before we can put that building on the site. So one of them was to create a master plan so that we're now going on to a much larger site, which can accommodate a much larger set of buildings. And from what we understand, that site is going to be Clayton County going into the future. So that's where we are now. We've got a master plan that we'll show you. We've got the drawings done, and then we need to adapt those drawings. A couple other things that we've already done on the existing site is we've got the topo, preliminary geotech, and we've got we've met with the city to let them know what we're up to. So the current task that we need to complete is on the geotech side. Now that we've got a building location, we need to finalize the soils boring for the location of the building so we can dial in on what the foundation system is going to need in that particular location. Like I said, we've met with the city, reviewed it with them. The one thing we do need to do in our next steps is the site is, per the city, it's an MX or mixed use site. However, on that site, there is a requirement for housing, multifamily housing. But the city has said, well, we can waive that requirement, and once you get to a point where you're ready to come to the city, they'll tell us what the zoning is. So they may create a special zoning district just for this campus. Okay, so the other thing that we need to do is get sort of the formal approval of the master plan, the building location, so that we can start generating other things. So what we need to do moving forward is create, that's when that'll trigger our civil to actually do the site plan for the entire site. Okay, and then once we have it, the building located, it's approved, we'll need to adapt it to the site. So for example, over here, there's a large difference in topography. So the end of the building closer to the park was sticking up, and we had a sort of more formal entry into the building. That's not the case anymore. So we're going to have to relook at how the building essentially meets the ground. I don't think within the building footprint itself that we're going to need to make changes, but we'll have to look at that and see if now with this new site, does it present any opportunities to make the building function a little better. So we're thinking that if everything goes to plan, end of summer, we've updated our documents, and we can look at going to bid in the fall, okay? Schedule-wise, good news there is we've been telling everybody fall 2025 was our completion date. And the main reason for that was because the old site had a parking deck, and we had to build the parking deck first. That was estimated 8 months. So this delay here, going from one site to another, is taking that time up. So the end date, the 2025, fall 2025 date, should not be changing. So we should be good on that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the actual master plan itself. Does this have? There should have been one that has a site plan on it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the master plan that we came up with. And Carrie and our master planning team have helped put this together. So what we're looking at, or how we approach this, is, let's see if we can go one more, nope. Okay, is to develop more of a campus feel to it. More of a campus feel to it, so that as buildings, future buildings come along, we can organize them. They start to make sense. We can look at the site as a whole and do infrastructure work for now. So, for example, if I can, you should be able to hear me. I'm pretty loud. This green area here, that's going to be stormwater management for the entire site. This zone here, we've already carved out for Fire Station 13. We've located the administrative building off of Terra Boulevard, and we've located the parking to the southeast side of that. And then in the middle here is our future development. The key thing now to this whole campus concept is coming off of Old Poston Road with a main boulevard that would take you into the site. This just happens to be located so as you come into the site, you're facing the main entry of the administration building. Okay. The challenge for locating the building on the site, and which sort of guided the master plan, is the fact that we didn't want to change the building footprint. Okay, so it makes it a little bit more challenging as to how we site it. So the way we have it sited, so it's sort of perpendicular to Terra Boulevard, which creates that southeast elevation, now becomes a large sort of billboard, if you will, as you're coming in Terra Boulevard, heading into town. So any questions on the master plan as it is? Okay. Carrie, did I forget anything?
I do. Is the front of the building facing Terra Boulevard?
No, it's not. So, this is actually the main entry to the building, okay? Again, we're looking at it as a campus approach, so we're internalizing the structures of the building. So, if you can imagine a future building here that would face this boulevard, that would then start to talk to this building, much like you would find on a college campus. Another building would come online wherever we put it, again, off of this boulevard, so they start to talk to each other. If we did put the main entry on this side, the back of the building is now in the middle of the campus, which we thought from a master plan standpoint, don't want to do. We want to try to group these buildings so that they talk to each other, they create spaces within the campus, much like you would see on any college campus.
Well, I mean, I thought, and I've been thinking that we were trying to build up Terra Boulevard, and that would be a good look for that. I mean, if we wanted to start doing that instead of having the back of the building facing Terra Boulevard.
Well, it's
That's
not,
just a thought of mine.
yeah. Again, it's an office building, so when we say back and front, there's no, like a back door. It's just, that's not the main entry. So we'll look at some of the images as we go through. So here's, as you come into that main driveway, that's the entry of the building. The chamber is off to the left. Whoops, this goes real quick.
Is all that glass going to be used?
Yes.
I have a question on that. I like the glass, but we have a building like that now that's difficult to cool and to heat. It's called the Juvenile Justice Center. Bills are not working out. So we're going to do something to help reflect or to make it easier to cool or heat.
We're looking at the glass. It may be a little on the darker side.
I got one more for you, and I hate to tell you this. It's a county building. I could tell you. Remember, it's a county building.
Mm-hmm.
Unless those are bulletproof windows, I don't know why we got so many windows. How you going to
And we
secure a
addressed
building
that,
with
didn't
all
we?
those
Yes.
windows?
Go ahead, Mark.
Did we think of safety?
We have established a critical, is this working? I'm sorry if you can hear me.
Yes, Mr.
We have established a critical infrastructure team that we have been through the 30, 90, and, 30, 60, and 90% phases of this design and got their feedback on security for the facility.
Who was that?
That was the Sheriff's Department, Police Department, Emergency Services. We all had reviewed and gave feedback and have addressed also when it comes to bullet-resistant glass in the key areas. Also, there are safe rooms on every floor of this facility. We have definitely taken that into consideration and have adapted that into this design.
If anything, if you're going to keep the windows, I definitely would not have it on the bottom floors.
There's also
Not to that degree.
There's also level 7 ballistics in the actual chambers benches that you will be behind as well. So we've definitely taken that into consideration and made sure that that's in place with this design.
Okay.
Commissioner, the other thing to keep in mind, what you probably don't see is, like we're doing around the police station now, we put the ballards around the building to provide another degree of safety. It's the concrete ballards that can come up just to, for cars trying to infiltrate the building, then we can have some other means of protection around the facility. So we've looked at other areas to want to minimize or maximize our safety in the building, but also it's a certain type of glass. It's kind of a tempered glass that it's thick. It has this sunlight resistant component in place to try to minimize what we call the heat island effect in the building. So they took into a lot of consideration about what can be done to help with the design. To even though you see a lot of glass, it really doesn't give you that, what we consider that effect that we have in the Justice Center where it's so hot, because it wasn't taken into consideration the type of glass that was put into the Justice Center when it was first built.
Yeah, and we've modeled this building from an energy standpoint.
Where else have you built this design?
Where else?
What other county? Because I travel throughout the state. I've never seen a county building like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking, but it's a county building.
Yeah,
I really have concerns.
Yeah, I mean, from an office building standpoint, I've done this building a lot. I've done buildings that are all glass, so we do take a lot of effort to make sure that based on the exposure, it's still comfortable, because those are lease properties, and if we can't make them comfortable, they don't lease, and if they don't lease, we're in big trouble. So yes, we've done this. We just haven't. I personally have not done this at a county level. I have done it for a college. So, and then the other thing, going back to the design, when we initially started working with Ben and his team, and the fact that this was on what would have been facing a park, the design goal there was to make it as open and inviting as possible because it was facing the park.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is the view you would see as you're coming up Terra Boulevard. And that's a view looking at the chamber, that corner there. That's the chamber piece. That is sort of an appendage on its own. This is looking for the southeast, where the chamber is on the right. There's our site plan. Did Claudia send you another set of photos? Yeah, that one. I think that was it. This one has a few longer range views. Yeah, could you go back to that one? Yeah. Okay, so these are sort of more views looking back away from it. So this would be our entry boulevard. And this is just a sort of conceptual, just to give you the feel for it. Obviously, we would do more development for the entry of it, so you have a gateway into the campus. Oops. And then this is a view of the building as you're coming up Terra Boulevard. So you can start to see what I mean by, because we're perpendicular to the road, you see more of the building, and we can do things with signage. As opposed to, because this is a long, narrow building, if we turned it, it would be, you'd see just the flat of the building.
Where they can see the monument sign up on the road.
I think I have, yeah, there you go. Yeah, and we looked at possibly creating here in the corner of the site, just a monument sign with a possibility of small pedestrian area. That just identifies this as the administrative center. And just to give you an idea, we throw in just a big mass over here just to give you an idea of what it starts to look like when you get a bunch of buildings on it.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Hold on a second, sir. Go ahead,
The
Commissioner.
secured parking, when you were over there, is it gonna be towards the back?
The what is that?
Secured parking.
Yes. Can we go back to that site plan? Okay, so, whoops. So this is general parking here, and the reason why we've done this is efficiency. It's just cost efficient just to put it all in one, as opposed to bringing the building down and then spreading it around. And also, if at some point in the distant future we start to build this out, you've got the ability to build here with possible parking deck in the distant future. We've got deliveries over here and secure parking, gated secure parking for commissioner parking. It's right here. That's the chamber. That's still your entry into the building like we had before. Okay? And then we just have some parking up front. We would mirror this on the other side and create a boulevard effect through the site. Okay, if we can go back to the other one. Thank you. Okay, so that's it looking at Terra Boulevard. So you see it's gonna be a big building. You're gonna see it as you go down the road. Oops. And just another view, and then again you get to see what it starts to look like when we start populating with buildings. This would be a view looking southeast as you're going out of town. And then this is it as you go directly by. So we'll have the county sign on it. You can see it's not all blocked out. So you've got 2 stories of windows above, okay? So it just, at this point, looks like a regular office building. And that was all I had on those slides. So that's basically it where we are with this building. Okay, is there anything you want to add, Ben?
Marty.
I'd spent too much time.
Ben's a
with
little
Ben.
taller.
I don't have anything to add other than the fact that we missed the kind of the 3D of the gated parking that maybe I think Commissioner Anderson was concerned about. I don't know if it was on this slide.
Yeah, it was the deck before that had the site plan on it.
Correct. There was a
a better view of it.
Yeah, there it is.
Correct, there it is.
Whoops.
We can zoom into that.
Yeah, so,
Correct. You can see it's a secured gated area that was definitely taken into consideration for the security of the commission staff.
so that we would imagine that would be card access, so, yeah, previously, when we went through the security, the building is, security is mostly card read. So card read to get into the parking lot, card read to get into the building, card read to get through certain areas of the building. So the one thing we still do have is, if you remember, is this balcony structure up here. We still have that. So, again, that's sort of an accident of how we planned it. We always had that balcony to overlook the park, but now that balcony is overlooking essentially what will be the campus.
All right, I believe Commissioner Hamburg had a question.
But actually, I have two. One, did we get something before about something for staff as far as a like a cafeteria kind of break room area?
I believe we do.
Yeah.
I believe,
Correct.
Yeah.
Each floor's got its own break room for
Right.
the staff.
Each level,
Each
right?
each
Okay.
floor, each level. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the other thing, as far as landscaping is concerned, I love trees and all, but I wouldn't want us to plant trees that's gonna block the building, the view of the building.
right. This is, right now, is just images. We haven't
Right,
even
but I mean,
begun the
just-
landscaping end of it. Yeah, we do want to have some trees. Yeah, obviously, we're not going to have a lot. The one thing we do want to be concerned about is noise from Terra Boulevard with cars going back and forth. Trees make a great sound barrier. So we're going to have to study that
Yeah.
to see what's the best approach there.
Any other questions?
Just one,
Commissioner
Chairman.
Davis?
You said a lot of energy efficient planning has been going into this, is going to go into this?
That's correct, because this is going to be a LEED certified building.
Great, so a lot of solar lighting on the outside, things of that nature will be going into it?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, another reason to have a lot of glass is more daylighting. But that glass has to be tempered against that daylighting to make sure we're not getting heat gain. We look at our HVAC systems to make sure that they're putting the cool air, the warm air where it's needed based on the exposure. And then we do extensive computer modeling that will tell us what the energy efficiency is of this building. So I could tell you from when it was on the old site, it met the LEED criteria, which is also the state of Georgia energy requirement. So we meet that. Again, we'll have to model it based on this new site and the new orientation, and we may have to make some modifications based on that.
And also, can we get a copy of the existing floor plan that you have for the building as well? So we can look at
Yes.
this. Has one been
Yes, sir. We can
completed
provide
yet
it
for
to you.
this
Yeah.
design? Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Hamburg?
Yes, the glass, the maintenance of that, is that more expensive or less expensive than some other material?
Well, because this there's a lot of glass, yes, it's going to be a bit more to maintain it, but no more than any other office building of this type.
Any other questions?
Yes, but I just,
Commissioner?
okay, I just want to confirm, but you have not built this for a government yet?
I haven't personally, no.
Okay.
Our firm did the Jonesboro Town Hall that's on the other side of the park.
Any other questions?
Well,
What?
let me just ask Marty, as far as maintenance is concerned, with all the glass and all. Oh, you wanna say something, Steve?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So considering this will be unique to our inventory, we won't use our traditional maintenance standards. We won't use refuse control as our primary means for which we clean the facility. We probably will look to have a third-party contractor in space to handle either some of the what we consider ancillary maintenance, i.e. cleaning of the glass, twice or 3 times a week. They will come in, that will be in conjunction with the custodial staff, or we'll have a third-party custodial staff in to handle the whole building. We are looking at models to see what the cost, which one would be cost-effective to do that. And of course, until we get complete with the building, we'll know what that impact will be on the general fund to assist with the building.
You know, that's my concern.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's echoed, actually.
Yeah, and
Glass
just to
is
follow up
echoed.
on that, the building is set up for easy maintenance of the glass.
Any other questions? Thank you for this update, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I see Dr. Kendrick is here now, so, ma'am.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, let me apologize. I was sitting in my car not realizing that I had missed my time. My apologies to you all, certainly. Excuse me. No, that is not me. That's me. That's me. Thank you very much. Okay, hello. So for those of you who don't know, Clayton County Community Services Authority have been in this community for 50+ years. Many of you I know knew the late Reverend Grant, and so he was in charge of this agency for 45+ years and had a lot of love for the community that still exists today. I'm always amazed by how many people come in and talk about his love for this community. I appreciate having the opportunity to serve as the executive director. I've done so for about 5.5 years now. Many of the programs that you see in front of you, we're able to sustain in the community, and we've added to them. So let me just say, as in who we are, I continue with that being that this was Reverend Grant, and as I say, he still is such a vital part of who we are. It's always great when you have staff that remember him and talk about him on a constant. But as it says, we are 100+ employees just in the Clayton area. We have expanded recently to be in Rockdale, providing Head Start and early Head Start there. So in total, we probably have about 160 employees, with most of them being here in Clayton County. Our funding includes federal, state, and local. Of course, his board provides funding to us as well. Let me say that we're in the middle of, we have just had a federal audit by the Office of Head Start. We will have a state audit by our community state block grant. They will be auditing our LAHEAP program, our LAWAP program, and our CSBG. Followed by that, our weatherization program will be audited, followed by, or ongoing is our agency audit. So we are having lots of fun right now. So let me say that our low-income energy assistance program, we are in, luckily our heating program has been extended by the state, so we will be going until June. Our cooling program started in April, first starting with only 65-year-olds. Luckily, the state has also allowed us just to have our seniors to continue to turn in their application and all of their, just to turn in their information prior to the pandemic, they had to come in and actually complete the application. We still give them an opportunity to do so if they would like, whichever one is convenient for them. Also, as a part of that program, if you are homebound, we also work with you. You just have to identify, and there's, basically we have one question for you. How do you get to the grocery store? And if it's my son takes me, my daughter takes me, then you're not technically, according to the state, homebound. When they say homebound, you must actually not be able to leave your home. Those are state protocols for that. So at the same time, we have our water program going on as well. That is, again, a state-funded program where if you are behind on your water, then we can assist you. The beautiful part about that is that the state will allow, the state will allow us to go up to, I think they just changed, it was $3,500, and now I think it's gone up to $5,000. Then we can do it without going back and get it. No, I'm sorry, it's $3,500 that we can do. The state will do up to $5,000. All you got to do is to show perhaps why it is that you're at $5,000. And if it was a leak, regardless of whether or not it is your home or it is a rented home, then the state will allow us to we will pay up to $5,000. We work very close with Henry County and Clayton County Water Authority to make adjustments accordingly. We also work closely with Clayton Water Authority because we have a senior program for them as well as for our veterans that we provide. And of course, we have investing in our children. We have our Head Start and our early Head Start as indicated. We have about 452 families. We are extremely challenged right now because we had a water leak in December. We are working with the contractors to fix it, working with insurance. We are attempting to get another facility, working with Lieutenant Moat and Captain Carson, I think is what his name is. So we are working with them to get our other building open so it is that we can support parents. It's been a long time, so we are organizing and working with the Office of Head Start a summer program for our children so that we can help to make sure that they are prepared. We also provide case management services, and that is just depending on whether it is what's needed in the community. And we like if you come to us and you're looking for rental assistance, we also like to find out whatever else it is that you are in need of. So we work with you on an individual basis, but also we just like to make sure that we can help with however it is that's needed. In the last few weeks, we've had senior citizens to come up and say that they had someone to steal their car. So we helped by calling the police and having the police to come. We had another gentleman that said, I need to use a computer. I need someone to help me with the computer because I need a job, and they won't give me a job until I fill out the application. I don't know how to do it, so we stopped and we did that. We also do a lot of collaborations within that department. We have Delta Airlines right now they are bringing over their leftovers from their flights. So whether or not that's water, sodas, it's food. We're working with a couple of different organizations to make sure that they come and get that food. We work closely with the Vietnamese community, and a lot of times they do food drives, and what they have remaining they give to us, and we just make sure that we give those out. In addition, just March 24th, we did a health fair with a number of different partners, including Clayton State University, Morehouse. We did the vaccines. We're very proud of the fact that we had over 200 people to be in participation, where they had an opportunity to get their eyes checked, their hearing checked, to get their blood pressure checked. Through Morehouse, they were also able to participate in a program where they would have temporary insurance. They could get vaccines. There was some other stuff that was happening. We had about 17 different vendors that were there, and you could also apply for rental assistance during that event as well. And then, of course, we work with legal aid doing a pro bono assistance for people that are needing legal guidance that is not of any violence, and so we partner with them. I think, I can't quote, next week or maybe next week after next, they are doing a Zoom meeting and talking to people about tenants' rights. So we're very glad about that. We are in talks with someone about us being able to record a couple of podcasts, and we are deciding what it is that we want those podcasts to be about. We are also in the middle of our third phlebotomy class, and so we have about 10 students with that, eight students, I'm sorry. We had some attrition with that class. So we have about 8 students. We have just signed a contract to start providing EKG. We have such a small number because we had it larger, and what we realized is that students need more of our attention. And so we thought that it was better to cap it and really make sure that students are successful. We have a young couple in love whose mama is not really that happy how in love that they are. So mama's like, you can't be in love in my house. So we are helping to get them training. We are helping to them to have living arrangement. We have helped with getting the GED for the young man. We are doing some mentorship for him. So yeah, and then we have our weatherization program. And our weatherization program, of course, helps folks in the county to weatherize a house and make sure that it is energy efficient. We're very proud of the fact that we are working with the state to see whether or not that we can increase those funding so that we can do more people's homes. Primarily, we do homes in Clayton. We can also do homes in Henry and Fayette, but primarily our homes are for those that are in Clayton County. So with all those, and of course then we also have a food pantry that we operate. And so with all those services, the next page shows that we are headed by a tripart board, and there you see there's low-income public officials and private. Give you the list of our public officials, our private, as well as our low income. Just recently, Mayor Angeline Butler of Forest Park has become our chairwoman. Hello. Your person has not responded to us. We said, hey, we're going to do what's needed, and now he hasn't responded. But we're going to keep calling him. He'll call you. When he does, tell him to call us.
And thank you, too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it was interesting because you were calling us, and I was saying we also had a mayor calling us, as well as Congressman Scott's office calling us. So we try.
Any questions for Dr. Kendrick?
I have a question.
Yes.
Hey, I want to ask you, with the Head Start programs,
Yes.
how many do you have? How many do you have in the county so far? Just is it one or how many?
We have 3 locations.
3 locations. Okay. 3 locations.
It is our South Avenue location that is having water damage.
Okay. Is there any way that we possibly might be increasing and having more locations as well in the county? Because I know you said you were doing some in Rockdale and other counties, but I just want to make sure we catch our kids, especially and our 3-year-olds before they go into those pre-K programs and getting them ready.
So our ability to increase the number of children that we have depends on the Office of Head Start, and they sometimes have an RFP that says a Head Start program in this specific county is available, and so we went for it, and that's how it is that we got Rockdale. Or they may go, you have the opportunity to expand in your county. And they have not said that, but we're hearing rumblings that may occur, so I'm telling our staff to get ready for it. To let you know what right now, the Office of Head Start, when they talk about expansion, a lot of times what they talk about is us partnering with child care centers. And it's really beneficial to child care centers when that happens. Right now, the only one we have is Busy Brains, that's on 138. And so what happens when a federal government comes into your facility, they want it up to standard, and they're willing to put quite a lot of money into it to make sure that it happens. Right, exactly. And so we expect that there will be some, hopefully before the end of the year.
Well, we all know we have good child care as well as when we start our babies young, you know, that improves our literacy rate throughout the county. So I just want to make sure that we continue to partner and get some more of those Head Start programs throughout the county.
Absolutely.
Thank
Agreed.
you.
Agreed.
Commissioner Hamburg.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
Okay. How many counties do you all serve?
4.
And they are?
Henry, Fayette, Rockdale, and Clayton.
Okay. Do they contribute to you all like we do?
No, we don't. No, we don't. We have some partnerships that are there. We are trying to infiltrate more down there. I think I have a community support manager director that has been in his position for about a year. And he is really working to improve our collaborations both in Henry and in Fayette. And let me tell you, that is not an easy feat at all. So I salute him for attempting to do so. And we also hired a community engagement manager in the last year to go out more to do those types of things. And she was so good at her job that someone offered her another job, paying her about $17,000, $16,000 more than we could. Congratulations to her. We always wish the best for folks.
Does the state mandate that you all serve those counties?
Yes, so the state provides money for Clayton and Fayette, but they provide money for all 3 for our LAHEA program, our low-income heating assistance program. So primarily in Henry, that's all that we do, is provide LAHEA. Primarily, that's all we do in Fayette as well, because we're working on getting connections, but it's just not happening as much.
Okay. Your board.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get your board members?
Well, let me not say the issue, but our board members stay on for a very long time.
That was going to be my next question. What's
Yeah,
the
they
term
stay on
limit?
for a very long time, and that's just the bylaws that have been in place for a number of different years.
So how do you get them? Where do they come from?
Beg pardon? So if I were to look public officials, or either just that public officials, or they are appointed by
I can see
other
the
appointed
public
officials.
they probably stay on through their term.
Mm-hmm. Well, they can stay on, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But I was looking at these others. Does anybody come from the Board of Commissioners?
No.
Clayton Board of Commissioners?
Other than the chairman, my apologies.
Okay.
Yes.
So nobody else, do we get appointments?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to look at some of these names. So they can stay on indefinitely, not considering the public officials, but the others can stay on indefinitely?
Actually, they can. And it's like, if my mind goes back to the bylaws, it's basically if you are not on the, not letting us know that you will be absent from a meeting 3 consecutive times, so that you are not participating, then you can be removed. But what I will say is, as I said, Mayor Butler, as a public official, has said that Mayor Butler, I should say, as the chairwoman, has said that she wants us to take a look at those bylaws and how it is that folks are appointed, as well as the time frame that they stay on it. So, and she's just, as I say, she's newly elected, so she's looking at that.
I applaud her for that, because, I'm looking here and I'm thinking, how did Group 2 private, how did they get on? How did the low income? How do those folk get on? And how long? Do you know how long the longest person has served?
Oh, Commissioner, I hate to even say so. I think he has been on for 20-plus years.
I know when I first came on this board, we had an appointment of someone, but that was from a commissioner, gosh, way back. Long time ago.
Okay.
And,
okay.
but I don't see that person's name, so I'm wondering, how did that person get replaced? Or did they volunteer to get off?
Commissioner, I wish I could answer that question, but I can't answer that question.
So you think the mayor may be able to find out and?
Well, at this particular point, I would have to go back to my assistant who has been with the agency for 30 years, and she may be able to answer that question, quite frankly. She'd be more likely to be able to answer that question than the mayor would.
Yeah, I'm just interested in how that works. Okay.
Certainly, no problem.
So I have
And thank you too. I'm sorry. Thank you for the work that you've been doing with me for the last couple of weeks.
No problem. No problem at
Commissioner
all.
Franklin.
Yes.
Yes, can you forward us just a copy of your bylaws and any subsequent documents that govern how community services operates?
Absolutely.
Okay, that would be great, and I'm sure probably the rest of the board would like to see it as well.
I
That
can,
would
no
be
problem.
Any other questions? All right, I'll just add, of course, I am on the board, so I can attest firsthand to all the hard work that you're doing, the challenges that you have, and yes, you have a shortage just like everybody else, but y'all are making it work, and you are actually doing good work here in Clayton, so thank you for what you do, and the staff as well.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah. How long have you been serving?
A little over 5 years.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Yes, thank you.
All right, next up is Benefits Quarterly Summary Report from Human Resources, Ms. Ambles.
Good evening, Board of Commissioners, and good evening to our Clayton County citizens. We want to thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening. This is the first of our quarterly meetings. The purpose of the quarterly meetings is just to update the board on our analytics and other factors that guide our strategies for our benefits administration plan. I did call each commissioner on Friday to give you a heads up about this particular presentation, and I also sent the presentation ahead of time so that the board will have the opportunity to review it. Human Resources, we definitely want to become more intentional in getting information to the board quicker so that you all will have time to digest it. I believe Marsh also brought presentations as copies of their presentations as well. For the board, but MMA is driving the ship for this presentation, so I'm going to get out of their way and introduce you to Mr. Jack Thompson. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Ambles. Chair Turner, Vice Chair Hambrick, and Commissioners, thank you so much for the
Vice Chair is
Vice
now
Chair.
Commissioner Franklin.
Vice Chair
It's okay.
Franklin, please accept my apologies.
It's
We're
okay.
excited to be here this evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. We've prepared diligently to be faithful stewards of your time this evening. My understanding is we have about 15 minutes and then questions after that. Are we on safe ground there?
15.
We're under strict orders. I would be remiss to start this without introducing our team because not much gets done without them. I'd like to first introduce Maureen Rosen. She's Vice President of Account Management with Marsh McLennan Agency, more than 30 years of experience in the business. Tanisha Gamblin, Senior Account Manager and Underwriter Extraordinaire, and also our partner, Rory Callahan, Vice President of Administration with Brown Financial Group. The agenda this evening is we want to talk about the power of Marsh McLennan Agency, but more specifically, why is that important to the county? How has it helped the county in the last year, and more specifically over the last 3 years? We'll talk more about that in just a second. Secondly, results matter. All of this effort that we're expending is notable, but at the end of the day, it's about delivering results, and so we're going to talk about that. We have some information, not too much, but a little bit of information from our actuarial department, specifically around your self-funded medical plan. You have two rather large medical plans. One is self-funded with Anthem, and that's where our actuarial department is very much tied in. And then you have a fully insured medical plan with Kaiser Permanente of Georgia. The ink is still drying on the information from Kaiser. It's fully insured, and the data lags by 90 days. So they just got us last week the 2022 data. Again, we'll take a very brief peek at that. Our data analytics department has also provided some information which we'll cover. And then I'm going to turn the presentation over to Maureen Rosen to talk about the well-being activities. You'll see in a minute that the conditions within your health plans, both your self-funded medical plan and your fully insured medical plan, drive claims activity. And so the wellness plan and what we're trying to accomplish there over a long period of time is important. We'll talk about our accomplishments in last year and a little bit in 2023. Also, the enhanced employee assistance plan. There are some very important provisions around mental health and mental well-being that Maureen will talk about. And then a new program that was introduced in 2023 called Transitions Benefit Group, primarily for your retirees and for those employees that are approaching retirement. And then, of course, we're going to leave it time for questions and do our best to answer them as well. So a little bit about the power of Marsh McLennan Agency. Being the largest broker in the U.S., we know the carriers and the products. I personally have been in the Atlanta marketplace for over 30 years. A lot of our producers and account management teams serve on the broker advisory panels with all of the major carriers in the market. We have robust financial models. We're going to show you a little bit of that in just a moment. We have tremendous benchmarking data. Probably the most notable is with our sister company, Mercer. They survey over 3,000 employers in the U.S. They publish their results annually, and we have the ability to go into their data set and pull benchmarking specifically relative to county governments. Obviously, we have to work in an area of transparency and work diligently to do so. Proactive service models, access to specialists, which you'll see momentarily. We have global resources, and we have tremendous buying power because of our size and volume. By way of example, we are the largest writer of insurance with Anthem of Georgia. And so we have access to their senior management and all of the others. As I explained in a previous presentation to the board, we have over the last 2.5 years deployed all of our centers of excellence. And these are powerhouse teams of seasoned professionals that understand the industry, and they help deliver our value proposition. That includes our Compliance Center of Excellence led by Chris Beinecke, our PATH Data Analytics Department led by Dr. Maston, our Medical Director, benchmarking actuarial services, stop loss, and pharmacy consulting. And you'll see why that's important in just a moment. As I mentioned previously, Roy Callahan and I serve as strategic guidance for the team. Maureen and Tanisha in account management. Betsy Noda Kirby is our Vice President and National Health Management Consulting Partner. She helps with wellness programs and consulting. Kim Johnson for Director of Client Engagement, and then Sarah Hudson for Communication and Graphic Arts. All of these individuals have at least 20, if not 30 or more years of experience in the industry. So when I say we have a very seasoned team, each one of our team members and the extended teams, the Centers of Excellence, would qualify as well. So results matter, and we condensed our original presentation to just talk about the results for the January 1st, 2023 plan year. So our Stop Loss Center of Excellence was able to negotiate a savings relative to the Anthem stop loss renewal of $184,000. We had to wait until October to get that savings locked down, but we were able to deliver on that. We think that will serve you well for many years to come. The commercial pharmacy renewal, your rebates from the pharmacy plan, we were able to negotiate through MMARX Solutions an additional $450,000 of pharmacy rebates on top of about $500,000 now. So your pharmacy rebates are totaling around $1 million a year. You have to incur those and they will be paid. So for example, the pharmacy claims that are filled in the first quarter of this year, you're going to get the rebates around October the 15th, and that'll be accruing as we move forward. The Kaiser medical renewal, you're going to see in a minute that your claims experience with Kaiser has gotten better over the last several years. That's helped us to negotiate a more favorable renewal, about a 4% reduction. That saved you about $560,000 for this year. We also negotiated an increased wellness fund from $150,000 to $190,000, so $40,000 of savings there. We also marketed the Medicare programs and were able to convince Kaiser to reduce their Medicare premiums $221,000, and also the Aetna reduction of $276,000. And Aetna was gracious enough to agree to pay $15,000 in technology and communication funds, which we're using to pay for the transitions benefit consulting service. So a total savings of $1,744,000 for this upcoming plan year. Now, you spend approximately pay about 72% of that for active employees, and your employees pay about 28%. And the percentages are a little bit different for retirees depending on if they're an early retiree or normal retiree. But to go out on a limb, about 70% of that savings is directly to the county. And then finally, for the new plan year, as I mentioned, where you rolled out the transition benefits consulting service, Maureen's going to talk about that more. We're sensitive to your retirees, and we're sensitive to those that are approaching retirement. We want to help create a vision for them so that they know it's okay to retire. I'm amazed how many people that don't have a roadmap and they stay and they work, and as they get older, they have more claims. And so we want to help them retire and also with other concerns that they may have. All right, so this is the actuarial review. This is regarding your self-funded medical plan with Anthem. So your budget, we have all of your data in our data warehouse, and your total budget for 2022 to the far right-hand, upper right-hand number, $28,375,000. The county paid $20,837,000 of that, and the employees paid $7,537,000. When we compare that to the 2023 budget, you'll see that it went up slightly. The total budget is just under $29 million. The county's cost $21,262,000, and the employee cost $7,669,000. So the overall adjustment, never a rate increase, but always an adjustment. The overall adjustment year over year is about 2%. In our business, that's pretty good. We'd like for it to be flat, but in our business, 2% adjustment year over year in an inflationary environment is pretty favorable. The employees is about 1.7%. Moving on to the Anthem medical plan. The actuarial team put this together, and this is your medical and pharmacy claims. This excludes administrative cost. This excludes stop-loss premium. This is just the medical and pharmacy claims. And if you look down on the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that it goes all the way back to 2018. So when we took over your account, we requested the claims data for Aetna because your self-funded medical plan was with Aetna in 2018 and 2019. And then in 2020, just as we were being hired, it was moved to Anthem prior to our being hired, January the 1st of 2020. And then it'll show 2021 actual versus, and then the budget for last year, and then the final results for 2022. The one thing I'll say about the 2020 plan year is that that does not include the run out of claims with Aetna, so it looks artificially low. It'll provide you with the cost, and the blue are the medical claims, and this is a per employee per year cost. And then I'm colorblind, I believe that's a gold color, and those are the pharmacy claims. And then to the left, it'll give you an idea in terms of total cost per employee per year. You'll see that the plan year was a little bit above budget on the self-funded medical plan for 2022, primarily because of some high-cost claimants.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Franklin.
I have a question. If I recall, the presentation you all gave last year, it seems to be exactly the same up until now. Do you have any new information to provide to us? Because this goes to January 2022. Do you have any new plan year information to present?
We do have information through the first 2 months of 2023 that would just become available. We also didn't have the 2018 and 2019 data, but we do have some additional information for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly. This is brand new in terms of the monthly reporting from our actuarial team. Your Human Resources Department receives this, and we provide about a 20-page report on your self-funded medical plan with Anthem. You'll see that it's January through December, and the gold chart, or the gold line in the middle, is the budget, about $1 million per month. And you'll see that some months it exceeded the budget, and other months it was below the budget. But this is just one small snippet of that total report. The other information is the total plan cost history. And again, this goes back to 2018. And this includes all of the costs, your medical and your pharmacy claims, your administration, and your stop-loss premium. And you'll see that it provides it for the Aetna plan years as well as the Anthem plan years. Again, 2020 is a little low because it does not include the run-out claims, and then it'll provide the per employee per year cost. And Commissioner Warner, to your point about the new information, the budget for 2023 is $13,780. And the data through February, the first 2 months of the year, is running at $13,917. I'll also add to that the benchmark relative to the Mercer survey is at $15,291. So you're running about 9% below the benchmark year over year there. We felt like that was a favorable trend. In terms of the Kaiser Permanente plan, the Anthem plan is about 40% of the total budget, about $12 million a year. The Kaiser Permanente plan, this is also a brand new information right off of their reporting system. The one thing that I'll point out is down in the bottom, and I don't know if this has a pointer, but I'll point it out right here, is the medical loss ratio, and this is for 2019, 2020, 2021, and most recently for 2022. You'll see that it ran at about 106% in 2019. So for every dollar of premium that you paid, they paid out $1.06 in claims. And then in 2020, it was right at about 100% loss ratio. And then in 2021, it dropped to 94%. And then last year, it dropped to about 86, 87%. We are encouraged by that. It has less high-cost claimants from the prior years, and that's one of the reasons that the claims experience has improved, and it's also one of the reasons that we were able to negotiate a more favorable renewal for the upcoming year. One of the things I wanted to point out, and this is true in both of the insured groups, are the chronic conditions within the group, the cost drivers, diabetes. There's about 2/3, 67% of the costs are driven by about 28% of the subscribers. So the diabetes are one of the highest costs within the group. Hypertension as well as depression, about 18.2%. And also their benchmarking against the county cohorts, your claims experience is running about 6.3% more favorably when compared to the Kaiser benchmark. So in both examples, Clayton County's claims experience is running a little bit better, and that's a favorable trend. Our PATH department, Commissioner Warner, to your point, you have seen this. This is about to be updated. We are going to deliver our annual data analytics presentation to your Human Resources Department. That will be with Dr. Masson, our medical director, and all of our clinicians. I included this page simply to make the correlation between the health conditions that are driving claims costs within the Kaiser population or the same claims conditions that are driving claims costs within the Anthem population. And those conditions are high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes, as well as pre-diabetes. And so we're working hard with HR to identify and to create programs to address that along with the respective carriers. And we also talked about metabolic syndrome, and when you have 3 or more of these conditions, then the cost of health care gets rather expensive. Again, the point here is to say the conditions within both of the insured groups are similar. I'm going to turn it over now to Maureen Rosen. She's going to talk about the well-being activities, because this is our objective, is to address those conditions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and distinguished commissioners and guests who are attending. I'll go rather quickly. I know we're watching our time, but we do want to talk about the momentum that we've built since we have been appointed the broker, and listening to the county exactly what their vision is for wellness. So we're going to talk about wellness activities, well-being activities, and accomplishments. Let's hope I go the right way. No. Okay, for 2023, we again removed the slides for 21 and 22 for the consideration of time, but we do want to report that, again, we're building off of the momentum for those prior years. We are looking holistically at the entire population, and not just their health that they purchase through Anthem or Kaiser, or the dental or the vision through Delta Dental or IMED. We're concerned with the entire holistic person. We want to be sure that they're mentally healthy, physically healthy, and our goal is to drive behavior change, awareness, behavior change, and we think the best way to do that is through education. Messaging campaigns have been done to get them to the Sonic Boom portal. That is the one portal where all of the wellness activities are housed. And Edward works with the HR team and promoting those wellness activities every single month, every single week, every single quarter. We set programs and contests so that we can get employees engaged in those contests, and we reward them for their participation. And we've increased those rewards so that they're higher even for 2023. In recognition of all of the efforts that were already done in 2022, we have 2,815 employees who are going to get a nature box. There's a sample picture of it down below, but it's a box worth $50, and it is a value for them that will be shipped to their home of healthy snacks and treats. Again, introducing them to the healthier lifestyle, making those decisions to be healthier and eat healthier. KP is partnering with us to outline initiatives for 2023, messaging campaigns on PCP visits, wellness activities, going to get pap smears, mammograms, et cetera, all of those things, plus flu shots, et cetera. We also conduct webinars. There's 4 a month. We work with Edward Lance, the wellness coordinator, and Brandon at Kaiser to make sure that we find topics that are effective and prudent to everybody's everyday habits. So you'll see a couple of there: smart grocery shopping, label reading, and then on April 19th, we're doing well-being. So there's 4 different webinars they can participate in, and if they don't get to participate, they can always listen to the recorded version. We're also sponsoring the Drive Flu clinics. We've done that for the last few years. We've got 4 dates this year where people can drive in, drive through, and get their flu shot. Seems to be very popular. We'll again offer the KP corporate walk and roll activity. Mr. Chairman, we hope that we're going to see your activity up here again this year. We sponsored that last year. We'll do that again this year and attend. And then many other initiatives, but one I want to point out is domestic violence. So we're aware of what's going on in the community. We're aware of situations that have occurred even within the employee population with domestic violence. And we're going to come on board with Ms. Ambles, come beside the HR team, and push out a lot of education and awareness on domestic violence training. Sorry. Can you do that for me? Oh no.
I think y'all time is up.
Okay.
Y'all over 15 minutes now. Come on.
The Employee Assistance Program, again, we talked about holistic. It's not just about physical well-being, but it's emotional well-being. And we have already delivered reports that are utilization reports that talk about what people are accessing in addition to stress management. They're very interested in financial help, elder care, job and career support, stress management, I said, emotional health, grief and loss. So definitely the Employee Assistance Program is being utilized. And then we did talk about seminars that are available. There's a couple in addition to the KP ones that are sponsored by Cigna. We push those out through email messaging. Edward gets those out. Again, they're recorded and they're pertinent to everybody's everyday life. And then we're gonna talk about 2 different seminars that we're gonna engage Cigna on. They're willing to do domestic violence in the workplace, a manager's role, as well as domestic violence awareness. 2 different programs that employees and managers can take part in. No additional cost for the county. We're gonna use the embedded hours that are built into the EAP program for that. And then most importantly, coming up soon is a lunch and learn on April 19th. It's domestic violence training. Edward and Director Ambles have partnered with the Austin Tyler Foundation to come out on site and put on this lunch and learn. We've gotten Anthem to sponsor it, so they're gonna use the wellness dollars to pay for that, and they will pay for the luncheon. So that's coming up very soon, and then we're gonna continue to push out that messaging. The benefit that Jack talked about, the new retiree benefit called Transitions Benefit Group. Once again, we don't believe that retirees have a path, not all of them do, and we want them to have that, and we want them to have the education and decision support behind that. So they have the ability to tap into Transitions Benefit Group. They do a one-on-one personal call. So it's an arranged call on a time that's convenient for them, and they're gonna speak with a specialist on Medicare, Social Security, retirement, any questions they might have, and help them through that process as they approach. And actually, Transitions will do a reach out to them when they're about 6 months away from retirement, kind of encourage them to have that call and build that path so that they are ready to retire. One thing I did want to mention about it is it's not just for the employees, it's for their family members. Anyone in the household can use this benefit. It costs them nothing to use it, and we are also monitoring, trying to find out about utilization, but so far, I think Angela will tell you the feedback and the comments have been very, very favorable. And again, no cost. We wanted this, we found a way to pay for it. We got Aetna to do that with their technology dollars.
Question.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Franklin.
the Transitions Benefit Group, is that through your firm or is it through the benefits provider?
Great question. It is a third party that specializes in retiree and Medicare and Social Security and all that. It's not part of MMA. It's not part of Kaiser or anything.
Where does the relationship lie?
So there is a service agreement
With-
and there is a cost. It's a PEPM cost, but we took all of those $15,000 from Aetna, Aetna Medicare, and paid for that up front. And pretty much it was adopted by Aetna because they want to be sure that they get a good look and a fair shot at all of the retirees that are looking to purchase their Medicare benefits. So
go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to mention that there's a very smooth transition for Kaiser population to move to the Kaiser Medicare supplement plan, but the Anthem people can't go to the Anthem plan. It was proposed, but it wasn't accepted. So Aetna feels like they maybe just don't have that smoother path. So they felt as though by helping to fund the Transitions Benefit Group, then people would have a better option or a better understanding of their two options.
Okay, so the agreement is with Aetna, not with Marsh.
The agreement is between the county and Transitions Benefit Group, and it's Aetna funding it with technology dollars. So yes, the agreement was presented for signature and signed. It's a relationship between the county and TBG, and it will renew every year. Monies will be needed, so we'll have to continue to come back and find those funds to fund the program. But I think we can do that through the reporting and utilization. Okay. And hopefully the favorable comments coming back from the retirees.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sorry about the clicker.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You were finished with your presentation, right?
Yes, sir.
I see the question slide. I just want to make sure I didn't cut you
Yes,
off. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you for your presentation and your time. Thank you. Ms. Ambles, you had anything you wanted to add?
I do. Chairman, I just want to sincerely thank the Board of Commissioners for their support of our wellness initiatives. It is a wellness program that keeps our low-cost claimants from becoming high-cost claimants. So it's a win-win. We're trying to improve the quality of our employees' life, which wellness does, as well as make sure that we are saving our employees and the county money so that we can sustain. Commissioner Anderson Edward, he has been to the Sana Single Gregory Recreation Center where he presented information to our seniors, and we got great feedback from them. So we not only want our wellness program to be internal to the employees, we want to reach outside to our communities as well, and that was a great thing. Another program that we have, because what Mars showed was just a snippet of the things that we're doing. We partnered with the Extension Service for a 8-week program called Walkaway. And we have had employees to stick with that. I told them, I said, you all are definitely the wellness champions to get off work, go out to Spivey to participate in that program. So they will be graduating from that program soon. I just want to thank you all for your support of the wellness program, because we are doing some magnificent things for our employees there.
Yes, and I echo that. And I want to say thanks and appreciate all the hard work that you and your staff are doing. Ms. Ambles, you're always looking out for the employees, and we are definitely grateful for that.
Thank you.
I have one more question.
Commissioner Anderson.
I know with Kaiser also with their wellness plan too, that do our employees get the $500 and all of that for participating in that plan as well?
No, ma'am. Are you talking about premium differential?
We have something, and we have something like if we do the wellness program through Kaiser, in my plan, Well, the wellness program, they get $500 for the spouse and $500 for the employee.
Yes, ma'am, and I think I understand what you're saying, and there will be some information brought before the board. We have discussed, at one point, we had our biometric screenings in place. So we are looking to bring that back, and employees who participate in that, they will get like some type of premium differences, but I will be bringing that to the board, working in collaboration with Marsh and the HR management team to bring something to the board for your consideration on that.
Please do, because that's a great incentive.
Thank you so
That
much. Yes, ma'am.
$500, it comes in a gift card, and it's just a great incentive for people to stay in shape and things of that nature.
Yes, ma'am. We're working on it. Thank you.
Thank you again, ma'am.
And we can't do it without you all, so I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, staff has asked to pull the last item, recapture and reallocate our Rainbow House CDBG funding, and they're going to gather some more information before they bring that to us. So at this time, we stand adjourned.